It's 8:47 p.m. The lights were on just a second ago. Now, total darkness, no power, no phone signal, and no idea how long this blackout will last. This isn't just an inconvenience. It could be life or death. In the next few minutes, you'll learn 11 survival rules that could save your life during a sudden blackout or emergency. Some of these tips are rarely shared online, but they could make all the difference when help is hours, or even days away. Will reveal what most people don't know, like why using a generator indoors can kill you in under 10 minutes, or how to survive freezing temperatures with just a blanket and cardboard. You'll also hear about real blackouts that turned deadly, not because of the dark itself, but because people weren't prepared. If you want to stay safe, if you want to protect your family when disaster strikes, watch this video till the end. Welcome to the channel where we teach you the skills that matter when it matters most. If you're new here, hit subscribe and turn on notifications, because knowledge isn't just power, sometimes it's survival. Let's begin. Rule 1, stay calm and don't panic. Before we talk about the tools, the kits, or the plans, there's one rule that comes before all others. It doesn't require any equipment, any money, or even any space, but it might be the most important survival skill you'll ever need. That rule is simple. Stay calm and don't panic. When the lights go out suddenly, when your phone dies, when everything goes dark, it's easy to feel like the world has stopped turning, your heart races, your breath shortens, and in that moment, fear can take over. But here's the truth. Panic won't help you survive. In fact, it could be the very thing that puts you in more danger. Think of it this way. When you panic, your brain stops thinking clearly. You make rushed decisions. You forget what to do. You might even run into danger without realizing it. And in an emergency, those split-second choices can change everything. So what should you do instead? Take a deep breath, then another. Let your body slow down. Let your mind focus. This isn't about being fearless. It's about staying in control when it matters most. Now imagine you're not alone. There are kids nearby, elderly family members, friends who don't know what to do. If they see you panicking, they'll panic too. One person's fear spreads like fire, and soon everyone is reacting instead of thinking. That's why staying calm isn't just about protecting yourself, it's about protecting others. Speak in a steady voice, give clear instructions, help people around you feel safe. Even if you don't have all the answers, showing confidence can stop chaos before it starts. In real emergencies, like the 2003 Northeast blackout that left 50 million people in the dark, the people who stayed calm were the ones who made it through safely. They didn't rush outside blindly. They didn't try to drive in pitch black. They assessed the situation first, then they acted. Because remember, darkness doesn't last forever, but poor decisions made in fear can follow you for the rest of your life. So before you reach for a flashlight or a phone, before you start planning your next move, take a second, breathe, stay calm. Only then should you begin to act. Before we talk about what to do during a blackout, let's talk about what you should already have in place before disaster ever hits. That brings us to rule 2. Always have an emergency kit ready. When the power goes out without warning, you won't have time to gather supplies. You'll need everything you might need for at least 24 to 72 hours, and it has to be within reach right when it matters most. So what should your emergency kit include? Start with the basics: a working flashlight with extra batteries, a battery-powered or hand-crank radio, and a supply of drinking water. Add in non-perishable food like energy bars, dried fruit, or canned goods, but don't forget a manual can opener. Don't overlook personal needs either. Medications, baby supplies, pet food, these are just as important as water and light. Also pack a first aid kit, whistle, dust mask, plastic sheeting, and duct tape. Yes, duct tape. Some people keep spare cash and small bills because ATMs and credit card systems may not work, and always have a charged power bank or solar charger ready for your phone. Now imagine this. You're sitting at home when suddenly the lights go off, your phone dies minutes later. There's no way to call for help, no way to see in the dark, no way to know how long this will last. But if your emergency kit is packed and waiting, you're already ahead of the game. Because here's the thing, emergencies don't warn you before they happen. But prepared people don't need warnings, they're already ready. Before we talk about using power during a blackout, let's talk about one of the most dangerous mistakes people make: not knowing where their electricity switch is. That brings us to rule 3, locate your safety switch or circuit breaker. When the power goes out, your first reaction might be to check for damage, flip switches, or even try fixing something yourself. But in some cases, that can put you and your family at serious risk. If there's any sign of electrical damage, water leaks, or sparks, your first move should be to shut off the power. And the only way to do that quickly is if you already know where your circuit breaker is. Most homes have it near the front or in the garage. Some are located outside. Either way, it should be easy to reach, even in the dark. Now imagine this. You wake up to silence, no hum of the fridge, no lights. You go to check the outlets, nothing. Then you smell something burning. Your heart jumps, you panic. Where's the main switch? Where's the breaker? If you don't know now, you're wasting precious time when every second counts. Knowing where your safety switch is doesn't just protect you, it protects your whole home. Turning it off during an emergency can prevent fire, electrocution, or even damage to your appliances when the power suddenly returns. And here's something most people don't realize. Even if the outage isn't your fault, your home's internal wiring could still be dangerous. So unless you're trained, never try to fix the problem yourself. Instead, turn off the main switch, stay safe, and wait for professionals to handle it. Because in a blackout, the last thing you want is to lose control over something you could have stopped with the flip of a switch. Rule 4, never use a generator indoors. It might seem like a smart idea at the time. Bring the generator inside so it's protected from the rain or close enough to power your lights and fridge without running long cords. But here's the hard truth. Even 1 hour of generator fumes inside your home can be deadly. Why? Because generators produce carbon monoxide, an invisible, odorless gas that can cause unconsciousness, brain damage, or death within minutes. You can't see it, you can't smell it, and by the time you realize something's wrong, it could already be too late. Now imagine this. Your neighborhood is in total darkness. The storm knocked out power for miles. You pull the generator into the garage thinking it's safe because the door is open. You go inside, plug it in, and feel relieved until minutes later you start feeling dizzy. Your head hurts, you feel sick. You don't know why, but your body is already being poisoned. Carbon monoxide poisoning kills hundreds every year. And most of those deaths happen indoors, even with windows open or fans running. So where should you use a generator? Always outdoors, at least 20 feet away from your home, and never near windows, doors, or vents. Even if it feels inconvenient, it's the only way to keep yourself safe. And if you don't have a carbon monoxide detector, get one. It could be the alarm that saves your life, because when the power goes out, staying alive shouldn't mean risking your life indoors. Rule 5, conserve your phone battery. When the lights go out and there's no backup power, your phone might be your only link to the outside world. But here's the problem. Phones don't last forever on a single charge, especially when you're using them non-stop. In an emergency, every minute counts. And if you waste your battery checking social media or streaming updates, you could lose your ability to call for help when it really matters. So what should you do? Use your phone wisely. Only turn it on when necessary. Turn off unnecessary notifications, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, and location services. Switching to airplane mode can help preserve battery life while still letting you check messages or calls at key moments. Also, avoid keeping your phone in extreme temperatures, like in direct sunlight or freezing cold. Doing so can drain the battery faster than normal use. Now, imagine this. You're hours into a blackout. Your phone is at 10%. You need to call a family member, but you hesitate, because what if you need it more later? That's why you should plan ahead. Keep a fully charged power bank, portable solar charger, or even a car charger ready at all times. And remember, during a major blackout, cell towers may also go down, so even if your phone is on, it might not get a signal. That's why it's important to have other ways to get information, like a battery-powered radio, because in a real emergency, your phone isn't just for chatting or browsing, it's your lifeline. And if you don't protect that lifeline from the start, you might lose it when you need it most. Rule 6, stay inside if it's safe. Before we talk about when to leave your home during a blackout, let's talk about where you should be in the first minutes after the power goes out. That brings us to Rule 6, stay inside if it's safe. When the lights suddenly go off and everything falls silent, your first instinct might be to step outside, to check on neighbors, see what's going on, or even drive somewhere for help. But here's something most people don't realize. The outside world can be far more dangerous than the dark inside your home. Downed power lines, broken glass, flooded streets, or even panic-driven crowds can turn a simple walk into a life-threatening situation. And in extreme cases, like during citywide blackouts or natural disasters, looters may take advantage of the chaos, So stepping outside without knowing what's really happening could put you in real danger. Now imagine this. You hear loud noises from the street, people shouting, car alarms going off. You open the door to investigate and suddenly realize it's not safe anymore. That's why, unless told to evacuate by authorities, your safest place is inside, as long as your home is secure. Keep doors and windows locked. Use flashlights or lanterns instead of candles if possible, and use extra clothing or blankets to stay warm if heating is out. If you have a battery-powered radio, use it sparingly to catch updates from emergency services or local news. Also, make sure everyone in your home knows not to open the door for strangers, even if they say they're checking on you. Because during a blackout, trust is limited and safety comes first. Staying inside doesn't mean hiding. It means staying smart. It gives you time to think, plan, and wait for more information before making any risky moves. And sometimes just staying put is the best way to survive until help arrives. Rule 7. Know how to cook without electricity. Before we talk about staying nourished during a blackout, let's talk about something most people forget. Without power, your stove won't work. That brings us to Rule 7. Know how to cook without electricity. When the grid goes down, so does your microwave, oven, and electric stovetop. And if you're used to cooking with just the push of a button, that can be a serious problem. Because food is more than just comfort. It's energy. It keeps your body warm, your mind sharp, and your strength up when you need it most. So what do you do when there's no power and no restaurant nearby? You need an alternative. And you need to know how to use it before disaster hits. Some options include a camping stove with small gas canisters, a portable propane grill, a butane burner, or even a simple chafing dish or alcohol stove. All of these are compact, easy to store, and can cook meals or boil water safely, as long as you use them outdoors. Now imagine this. You've been without power for over 12 hours, your fridge is warming up, your snacks are running low, and you're starting to feel weak. You open a can of beans, but realize you have no way to heat it. That's when having a backup cooking method becomes more than useful. It becomes essential. But here's a warning. Never cook indoors using anything that produces fumes. Charcoal grills, camping stoves, or gas burners should only be used outside, away from windows and doors. Even one breath of carbon monoxide in a closed space can make you seriously ill. So before the next outage hits, practice using your cooking tools. Try boiling water, make a simple meal, learn how much fuel you actually need. Because when the lights go out and the cold sets in, knowing how to cook without electricity might be the key to keeping your family fed and safe. Rule 8. Keep water and food stocked. Before we talk about how to manage without power for days, let's talk about something even more urgent, what you need to survive the first 24 hours. That brings us to Rule 8. Keep water and food stocked. You can go weeks without food, but only a few days without water. And in an emergency blackout, every drop counts. When the power goes out, so does your ability to run the tap, especially if your home relies on electric pumps or well water. So if the outage lasts longer than expected and you haven't stored extra water, you could be in real trouble. Now imagine this. It's been over 12 hours since the lights went out. Your usual routines are gone, your fridge is warming up, and now you're starting to feel thirsty. If you don't have clean drinking water ready, you're already behind. So how much should you keep? At least 1 gallon per person per day, and that's for drinking and basic hygiene. Store it in sealed food-grade containers and replace it every 6 months to keep it fresh. Also, pack non-perishable foods that don't need cooking. Canned vegetables, beans, tuna, peanut butter, dried fruit, crackers, energy bars, anything with a long shelf life. Rule 9. Create a family communication plan. Before we talk about how to stay connected during a blackout, let's talk about something most people don't plan for. What happens if your family gets separated when the power goes out? That brings us to Rule 9, create a family communication plan. When the lights go off and phones start losing signal, staying in touch becomes harder than you might expect. And if you assume everyone knows what to do, you could end up worrying more than surviving. Now imagine this. You're at work, your partner's at the store, the kids are at school. Suddenly the power fails, phone towers crash, and all lines of communication go silent. No texts, no calls, no way to know if everyone is safe. That's why having a clear plan before disaster hits can keep your family together even when you're apart. So what should your plan include? First, agree on a set of emergency contacts. not just each other, but someone outside your local area. If local networks are down, reaching a relative or friend in another city might still be possible. Next, pick a meeting place, one close to home and one further away in case you can't return. For example, a nearby park or corner store as your first meeting point, a relative's house or community center farther away as your backup location. Also, teach everyone in your family how to send a text. Sometimes texting works when voice calls don't, and it uses less battery. Don't forget to write down key numbers. Yes, even in 2025, paper copies matter when screens go dark, and here's something many overlook. Children should know how to call or message someone besides their parents, like a grandparent or neighbor, just in case. Because during a blackout, confusion spreads faster than darkness, and the only way to fight it is with a plan that keeps your family connected, no matter what happens. Rule 10. Learn basic first aid skills. Before we talk about how to handle injuries during a blackout, let's talk about something most people overlook. When help is hours or even days away, your first aid skills might be the only help you get. That brings us to Rule 10. Learn basic first aid skills. During a sudden blackout, hospitals may be overwhelmed, emergency services stretched thin, and ambulances unable to reach you. And in those moments, waiting for help might not be an option. So what happens if someone gets hurt? A cut that won't stop bleeding, a burn from a cooking flame, a child who starts choking, or worse, no one around knows what to do. Now imagine this, you're in total darkness, the power is out, and someone in your home gets injured. There's no doctor nearby, no internet to look things up, only you, your knowledge, and your ability to act fast. That's why knowing how to treat basic injuries isn't just useful, it could save a life. Start with the essentials. How to stop severe bleeding, what to do for burns, how to perform CPR, how to help someone who's choking. Even learning how to use a simple first aid kit can make all the difference. And here's something many don't realize. Serious problems often start small. A minor cut can turn into a deadly infection without proper care. A sprained ankle can leave someone helpless if not treated correctly. So build your knowledge now before you're forced to learn the hard way. Take a local first aid course. Watch trusted training videos. Practice with family members so everyone knows what to do. Because in a real emergency, the person who saves a life might not be a doctor or nurse, it might be you. So if you're serious about staying safe, if you want to be ready when the unexpected hits, click subscribe now and don't forget to turn on notifications so you never miss a new video. Because in a world full of surprises, the best way to survive is to know what to do before it happens. Thanks for watching, stay sharp, stay safe, we'll see you in the next one.